everybody, my name is Eric Hopkins and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So we've got a little bit more news about Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, and this comes from star Dave Bautista himself, who plays Drax the Destroyer. And this article comes to us from Screen Rant, and it's basically where Dave Bautista's now come out and said that Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 will probably be the end for Drax himself. We'll go on into this article a little bit here. Dave Bautista says Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 will probably be the end of Drax. Though Bautista's original claim to fame was as WWE champion, he became well known as a film star after playing the lovable, dense Drax the Destroyer in Guardians of the Galaxy. Since then, Bautista has portrayed Drax in the sequel and appeared in 2 Avengers movies. He will be reprising the role for the Phase 4 film Thor: Love and Thunder before returning for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. However, Bautista's most recent role is in Zack Snyder's highly anticipated summer blockbuster Army of the Dead. Marvel recently released a featurette hyping its slate of Phase 4 films in anticipation of the full reopening of theaters. The studio confirmed names and release dates for movies coming in 2022 and beyond. Guardians of the Galaxy 3's release date is further in the future than any other Marvel film that is currently scheduled, as it will hit theaters in May of 2023. Since James Gunn's latest space-faring adventure has yet to enter production, its plot is being kept tightly under wraps. But it will likely include these 2 plot lines: the search for Gamora and Rocket's traumatic origin story. Gunn has reaffirmed Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 will be his last of the series, and now Bautista is following suit. In an interview with Digital Spy magazine, Bautista addressed the future of Drax. Though he has only seen a draft of the script from years ago that has likely undergone some drastic changes, Bautista says Guardians 3 is probably going to be the end of his character's arc. The actor also revealed the upcoming film completes his current obligations with Marvel. He is quoted as saying, "I don't know what the script of the 3rd film is, to be honest with you. There was a script years ago that obviously is going to have to change because the whole direction of Marvel Universe has changed as well. There were talks for a while about a Drax and Mantis film. It was really because it was James Gunn's idea. He really wanted to do a Drax and Mantis film. He laid it out to me. I thought it was such a brilliant idea, but I haven't heard any follow-up from the studio. I don't think they're very interested, or it doesn't fit into the way they have things mapped out. But other than that, no. I mean, as far as my obligations, I've got Guardians 3, and that's probably going to be the end of Drax." So this isn't super surprising if you know the history of Dave Bautista, James Gunn, Disney, Marvel, the whole thing. Long and short of it is, a few years back, James Gunn was fired from Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 after some old 10-year-old tweets, resurfaced, and, Disney felt like they wanted to not deal with the PR of it. So they got rid of James Gunn. And that is why James Gunn, director, then went over to DC and has currently filmed the Suicide Squad sequel and is working on the Peacemaker spinoff with John Cena. That'll be on HBO Max. And after that, Disney finally came to their senses and rehired James Gunn to direct Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, probably partially with some influence from Kevin Feige and the cast themselves, including Dave Bautista, who came out in defense of James Gunn. And ever since then, Dave Bautista has kind of not really been on good terms with Disney. He's kind of openly talked about how they made a bad call there. And, he may not be wrong in that regard, because obviously James Gunn is the brainchild of the Guardians of the Galaxy franchise, and bringing up stuff from 10 years ago sometimes it's like, okay, people change. And obviously James Gunn appears to be one of those people. And he also had apologized for said remarks as well. But Dave Bautista definitely went to bat for him, as well as a lot of the other cast members. So I'm glad to see James Gunn is coming back for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. But there's another part of this too. James Gunn, even though he said Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 is going to be his last Guardians movie, and granted, he's probably going to write it as if it's the last one. Now, I'm sure he's had conversations with Marvel Studios and Kevin Feige and things like that. So we'll see if it's actually the last Guardians of the Galaxy movie, period, or if it's just James Gunn's last Guardians of the Galaxy movie. Either way, Guardians of the Galaxy will either end or it'll be changed to a degree because it'll have a new creative force behind it in the director's chair moving forward. But in regards to Dave Bautista, he's talking like this is going to be his last film. So again, if you know the history like I just laid out, Dave Bautista probably doesn't want to work with Disney anymore. Probably doesn't want to work with Marvel. He's loyal to James Gunn, and for good reason. I'm sure they're good friends, and they get along well on the set and things like that. So, and I'm sure Dave also probably wants to pursue other career aspects and career choices. And obviously he's got Zack Snyder's Army of the Dead coming out soon. So he's just ready to move on. So did Dave Bautista just come out and say that Drax the Destroyer dies in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3? Maybe. I mean, it stands to reason if the Guardians of the Galaxy films are going to continue without James Gunn, you have to explain where Drax goes. So that he very well could be dying in Guardians 3. Very well possible. I would kind of argue it might have been a better idea to, have him die at the hands of Thanos, because Thanos is the one who, murdered his family. And he never quite really got, I mean, he helped in, taking Thanos out. So I guess you could all argue that he did help to, avenge his family's death. But maybe not in the way that they originally intended, because he talked like he had to be the one to kill Thanos in the first film. But that never did come to fruition. So we'll see where they go with that. But yeah, that's very well possible that Drax is dead. I mean, the first film, Groot died. Now, granted, we got Groot back. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, you had, Yondu, he died, and obviously that seems very final, according to James Gunn, that he's not bringing back Yondu, and nor should you. I think it was a fitting, end to his character arc, and I would not want to see them bring him back, because I thought that was so well done. So Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, Drax may be next. We'll see. There's also a thing online that the color scheme of the logos for each film have kind of, foreshadowed the death of the characters that will happen in the movie. And Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 does kind of have the same color scheme of Drax the Destroyer. So it's kind of interesting. That's just a little thing that's been going around the internet, that maybe that's a foretelling or foreshadowing of things to come. But we'll see what they do there. But again, I don't know if I necessarily believe the fact that even though James Gunn has said he's done with Guardians after this, that perhaps, that Guardians is done completely. I think that if it's, financially successful enough, Kevin Feige may go, let's keep Chris Pratt, let's keep Zoe Saldana, let's keep, Karen Gillan and, Rocket, James Gunn's brother, Sean Gunn. I don't know if he'd come back to do the motion capture for Rocket or not. We'll have to wait and see. But I think that there is a possibility that these characters could still continue on and maybe do Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 4, maybe bring in a new writer, a new director, and things like that. So we'll see what they do. But but what do you guys think about Dave Bautista being done with Drax most likely after Guardians Volume 3? Comment down below, let me know, and hit the subscribe button, and don't forget to hit the notification bell so you get all the notifications about when I put up new content on my channel. And until my next video, guys, take care.